Look, I was so naive. Like when I started, I did my first margin treating. A bottle costs this to distill, and I can sell it for that. Brilliant, you know. And then a week later, I found out there's this thing called excise tax, which is the single biggest cost in any bottle of booze is tax. You know, it's outrageous. So that killed all the margin. But by then, I'd ordered all the bottles. You know, maybe I wouldn't have ordered the bottles if I knew of this thing called excise tax. Naivety is actually a good thing, you know. And my business partner Grant, who invested in 2002, you know, often says, you know, if you knew of all the problems in front of you, it would almost be too daunting, you know. And it may well have been, you know. It seemed like so simple and so easy when I wrote it down on the aeroplane, and that's what made me so excited about it all. The pivotal moment was when we won a taste test here in London. In fact, I didn't even know we'd won it until like several months later. Unbeknown to me, someone had put a bottle in a taste test by a magazine, a great magazine called Class, which is kind of an hospitality industry magazine. And it was then that we got a little bit of publicity. That was one of the first PR learnings I learned, actually. Found out we'd won this taste test and spoke to a few friends in the PR industry and said, hey, last August, this was in November I think, we won a taste test, should I do a PR release? And they said, no, look, it's kind of 3 months old, it's not going to get any news. And I was driving to work one morning, listening to the radio station, and I just thought, I think this is news, even though it is 3 or 4 months ago. I'm not going to listen to the PR experts. So I just cold called the radio station, got the producer, and they said, hang on a minute, this is kind of interesting. And a couple of minutes later, I was live on air, listening on my cell phone, listening to myself on the car radio. But that was a spark, and the great thing about media is media breeds media. So once it got on that station, 10 minutes later, the newspaper calls up, and a few hours after that, you know, the following day, the television station calls up. So that was a key moment. All the other vodka brands were taking themselves incredibly seriously. So we thought, right, no one's being irreverent, being contentious in the vodka world. That's a fantastic opportunity for us. My friend Daryl wrote an ad, and we put that on air, and everyone loved it and laughed, and at the same time went, ooh.
Each morning, the Maori people of New Zealand, which is part of Australia, rise at dawn, cook some eggs, put on their grass skirts and go out to the fields to make 42 below vodka. There they trade with the fierce all-black tribes that live in the hill country for raw ingredients and ship them down the Shotover in traditional America's Cup yachts to the 42 below factory. Then, using only stainless steel distilleries carved from ancient kauri trees, they create the world's smoothest vodka, which they give to the white man in exchange for blankets, muskets, and hobbits. And as the day turns to night, the tribes come together, drink large amounts of 42 below, carve plastic tikis for Air New Zealand, and tell the traditional Maori joke, which goes like this. Knock knock, who's there? Statue. Statue who? Statue bro? 42 below vodka, made right here in Sydney, New Zealand.
We put it on as a little JPEG and started sending it to friends, and it just went off. You know, hundreds of thousands of hits within days.